Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning in. You are on to your favorite bilingual program, The Brief, which is dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, we are interested in the major headlines that have been brought to us by some newspapers in the country, talking about Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, that has decided to leave the northwest region of Cameroon 8 months after the suspension in that part of the country by the governor of the northwest region of Cameroon, Adobe Lily Lafrique. We shall equally be talking about the kidnapped Ndiana divisional delegates whose whereabouts are still not yet known as we speak now. Startling revelation made recently by the first deputy mayor Indian division of the southwest region, talking about security or insecurity in that part of the country. Let's go find out what the French newspapers have for us this morning with Etape Quentin. Bonjour Etape.
Bonjour, Lasha, santé, sécurité, politique, économique et bien plus encore le sport. Mesdames et messieurs, ce sont les thèmes qui écument les unes des journaux présents en kiosque ce matin. Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à cette grande revue de presse de votre émission débrief de chaque matin, édition de ce mercredi 4 août 2021. Et commençons très rapidement avec le quotidien La Nouvelle L'Expression qui nous donne les dernières informations sur la gestion des fonds alloués pour la riposte contre le coronavirus. En tout cas, voici la une que le journal consacre à sa grande une Covid-Gate, Madaouda Malachi et les 10 milliards. Alors, plus loin de la page 2 de sa parution, le journal nous explique qu'au moment où le ministre de la Santé conteste le montant dépensé par son ministère, un document interne du gouvernement confirme que le ministre Santé a bien effectué des dépenses de 45,2 milliards de francs CFA payés en avance de trésorerie. À la côte de sa une, le même journal fait le point sur les fondements qui met le Cameroun dans les situations troubles, en étant ainsi les colonnes des pages 6 et 9 vous livrent les informations concernant ce détail: mauvaise construction, mauvais matériaux, inexpérience, corruption à l'origine du grand mal qui tue les citoyens au quotidien. Alors, poursuivons avec le quotidien La République qui nous conduit à Yaoundé, 4e, où il y a mené une enquête sur le ministre du domaine des cadastres et des affaires foncières au cœur d'un scandale foncier à un Toutouli. D'après nos confrères, les familles Ondoa Grégoire et Ntaman Veme sont dans un climat de guerre pour 17 hectares de terre qui constituent une pomme de discordance. Interpellé, le patron du MINCAF joue un rôle trouble dans cette affaire d'un titre foncier que relaie numéro 40844-MF. Le spectre de faux en écriture administrative, des abus et des actes de corruption plane dans une période de 2 mois en raison d'un ping-pong d'un titre foncier retiré puis réhabilité à nouveau retiré. Poursuivons avec notre exercice ce matin avec le quotidien Le Jour qui parle de la manifestation des agents de santé en chômage après leur formation pendant un bon bout de temps. Fonction publique, 600 médecins demandent à être utilisés. C'est le titre que le journal consacre à sa grande une d'ailleurs. Dans son développement, le quotidien bleu d'Amanmana avance que à ces 600 médecins s'ajoutent aussi de jeunes pharmaciens et chirurgiens dentistes formés dans les facultés de Yaoundé, Douala, Bouya et Bamenda. En tout cas, je vous propose d'aller parcourir l'enquête menée par ce journal dans les colonnes des pages 2 et 3. Au pied de sa une, la même parution en kiosque ce matin s'intéresse également au sport et titre FIFA Issa Hayatou suspendu pour 1 an depuis Tokyo. Il vous livre ses propos en réaction face à cette information, face à cette actualité. Dans ce numéro présent en kiosque ce matin, et puis terminons très rapidement en sport pour terminer avec le quotidien à capitaux gouvernemental Cameroun Tribune qui s'intéresse à l'élite One et tout et titre à sa grande une reprise des championnats pour de vrai, une interrogation qui suscite des inquiétudes selon le journal de Marie-Claire Nana. Après une nouvelle interruption de 2 semaines, la relance de la première et deuxième division est annoncée pour ce mercredi 4 août 2021 avec les 16e et 14e journées dans les poules A et B. On espère que cette saison visiblement compliquée va enfin s'achever sans autre improvisation, sans autre pause improvisée. Une information bien sûr à retrouver dans les colonnes des pages 28 et 29 de ce journal présent en kiosque ce matin. Fin et stop pour la lecture de presse en français. Place actuellement à la découverte de cette tabloïd avec toi Lasha en anglais.
Thank you, Etape Quentin. Let's kick start this morning with the Lone English Daily, the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post newspaper this morning is interested in the decision by Doctors Without Borders to leave the northwestern region of the country. Armed conflict in Anglophone regions, thousands in danger as Doctors Without Borders withdraws from the northwest region of Cameroon. According to the paper, the thousands of people who are believed to be in need of vital medical assistance are feared to be in danger as international medical charity organization Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, has withdrawn its teams from the crisis-hit northwest region of Cameroon. It is a region badly affected by years of armed violence between security forces and armed separatist groups. The medical humanitarian organization withdrew from the region at the start of this week. The decision came nearly 8 months after the governor of the northwest region of the country, Adovlele Lafrique, suspended the activities of the set group in his area of command. And the paper goes ahead to say the Doctors Without Borders, they say they cannot continue to be in an area where they will not be allowed to perform or carry out their duties without being disturbed or stopped by the authority or the powers that be. Let's talk about the DDR centers across the national territory. After recent Boko Haram attacks in the far north region of Cameroon, DDR coordinator condemns, re-echoes Bia's call for voluntary surrender. The national coordinator of the set committee, that's the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration DDR Committee, Fai Yengo Francis, has condemned recent attacks carried out by members of the terrorist sect Boko Haram in the far north region of Cameroon. Fai Yengo Francis used a media outing in Yaoundé Monday to regret the recent twin attacks which left over 10 soldiers dead. He re-echoed President Bia's message for those who have bought the ideology to voluntarily or willingly surrender and join the DDR centers. He said government is more than ever before committed to implement measures for their peaceful reinsertion into the society. Let's continue with the Guardian Post newspaper to talk about the startling revelations made recently by the first deputy mayor in Indian division of the southwest region. We are talking about the first deputy mayor of Mundemba, as whereabouts of kidnapped delegates unknown. Mundemba mayor makes a disturbing outing on security situation in Indian division. As we are told by the paper, the public continues to ponder on what has become of 6 divisional delegates kidnapped June 15 this year in that's Maso Balu village in Ekondo Titi subdivision, Indian division of the southwest region of Cameroon. A municipal authority has stepped to the fore, making disturbing declarations. The declarations are those of the first deputy mayor, like I earlier mentioned, the first deputy mayor of the Mundemba Council. In the outing, the official paints a picture of the security situation in Indian division as many remain perplexed since the delegates were kidnapped and taken away by armed men believed to be separatist fighters operating in Indian division of the southwest region of Cameroon. On to onto the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper is revisiting the report published recently by Human Rights Watch. Human Rights Watch reports that indicted the military and the government of Cameroon. And we are told by the Sun newspaper that government still mute on rights group report. Human Rights Watch report, which calls for restraint on both sides, denounces atrocities committed by both the regular forces and armed separatist groups operating in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The report equally noted that more than 3,500 persons have so far perished in the war since it went military, or the crisis since it went military in 2017. Doctors Without Borders quits northwest region of Cameroon. This is contained in a release that was signed in Yaoundé, the political capital of Cameroon, recently. The Doctors Without Borders withdrawal provoked by government's ban, the ban which was imposed on the said NGO, or the said international NGO, the charity organization, since December 2020 by the governor of the northwest region of Cameroon, Adolphe Lili Lafrique. They equally say they cannot continue in the region where they are not allowed to provide care to the people, as it is their mission to cater for people who are in need medically in that part of the country. Let's continue with the Sun newspaper to talk about O.C. Joshua, who has been crowned traditional ruler of Madi Ngolo in Indian division of the southwest region of the country, the first vice national chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party, who happens to be the MP for Wuri Center in the littoral region of the country, was crowned recently as ruler of Madi Ngolo in the southwest region of Cameroon, precisely in Indian division. We end with Emergence. Emergence newspaper is interested in the recent recruitment exercise of some teachers into the public service, precisely the basic education. Some of the teachers who were not recruited are decrying the recruitment process, saying that it was not fair and transparent. They are accusing the Minister of Basic Education, Professor Laurent Serge Etundi Ngoa, of malpractices when it comes to the recruitment. They say those who were trained some 15 years ago were not recruited, and instead those that were trained 1-2 years ago were absorbed into the public service. Thank you for watching televiewers. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning, and we are receiving the special advisor to Professor Maurice Kamto, who is of course is always here with us. Sir Mutaga Silvanus Tifu, thank you so much for joining this morning, sir.
Thank you immensely, Mr. Lasha Kingsley, for giving me the opportunity to be on set this morning with your co-host, Etape Quentin. Good morning to all the faithful viewers of this particular program, The Brief on My Media Prime, which is the leading English channel in Cameroon for the moment.
Okay, let's kickstart with this headline, which many people have termed crying more than the bereaved. I'm talking about Doctors Without Borders, that the said international charity organization has announced that they are leaving the northwest region of the country, and the announcement is coming 8 months after they were officially banned by the governor of the said region, Adolphe Lili Lafrique, and they are accusing them of collaborating with the separatist fighters, or what they are doing in the northwest region of the country is not in their mission statement, that is taking care of people who are in need of health or health care.
Mr. Lasha Kingsley, if we would all agree that communities don't live in isolation, we would assert the fact that it is a war going on in the northwest and southwest region, and we need specialists, especially in humanitarian intervention or health intervention in zones that are risks. And we know that the Doctors Without Borders, they are experts in intervening in war zones. So I think this is a blatant disregard for the health of the citizens of the northwest region. Let us not only talk of the separatists alike, because I think there is the General Convention which regards, or let me say, governs war. That governs war. Convention. That governs war. So everyone deserves access to medical care, be it the belligerent, the regular soldiers, or the separatists. Once they are wounded, they deserve access to medical care. I think once they are at the hospitals for treatment, they are not beyond the law. The regular soldiers, the gendarmes, and the police officers have every right to apprehend them, even in the center where they had been treated. So to tell us that these people are not useful or are not needed in the Northwest region because Cameroon can contain.
But many Cameroonians are asking questions. Why is it only in the Northwest region? Why is it in other regions, like probably in the Southwest, where the war is ongoing and Doctors Without Borders, they are equally in the Southwest, but this particular case is the Northwest? Does it mean that there is something fishy? They actually did what they are being accused of by the government of Cameroon?
Mr. Lasha Kingsley,
because Adovlele Lafrique cannot just get up and say Doctors Without Borders are they are collaborating with the separatists, or they are playing some kind of games that is tantamount, or that is playing down on the territorial integrity of the nation.
Mr. Adovlele Lafrique is one of those governors I respect so much. I met him, that was in 2017, on the 19th of May. We discussed at length in his office before I left Bamenda. I don't want to question his integrity, but I want to say that there are certain decisions that necessitate thorough reflection.
Even when the facts are clear?
I can't say the facts are clear, because those facts have not been subjected to any law court. If they suspected Doctors Without Borders for infringing upon the protocol, they were supposed to sue them to court. Cameroon has law courts.
Before that, the suspension was probably necessary to halt further damages.
Not
before they can go about.
In as much as their guilt is not duly proven in a law court, because these people is a legal entity. The governor of the Northwest region has every right to sue them to court. It's a duty for him to sue them to court and say they are infringing. Normally, if they infringe the duty that they were assigned to do in the Northwest region, I think they are supposed to pay certain reparations to the government of Cameroon. In as much as it's still yet unproven, and they just say they were caught doing this and all that. The Doctors Without Beyond Borders, they are not above the law. If they are beyond borders because they operate across the world, it doesn't mean they are doctors above the law. So today, it's still like there is something fishy that the governor doesn't want us to know, because if it were to be handled in such a way that even the international community should be satisfied, this would have been at the law court.
But we've seen other international NGOs, like in Nigeria, that were illegally training, militants of a certain terrorist group or whatever, and the Nigerian government took certain decisions regarding the said NGO that was training, that was carrying out military training illegally in Nigeria.
Mr. Lasha Kingsley, I still continue to say that this is a good opportunity for us to prove to the entire world that there are certain mercenaries that may want the war in the Northwest and Southwest region to continue till their kingdom come. So if it was attacked in a law court, maybe it would have ushered an opportunity for a lot of people to come and really witness it, so as to acclaim the governor of the Northwest and the Northwest region for taking such a decision.
We are at war, and there is no time for going to courts. And
no, the issue is
the austerity measure or the decision was necessary.
Certain individuals of Doctors Without Beyond Borders got involved in illegal businesses, it does not mean that the entire corps is bad. It's just like we
so
also...
Why don't you think that the said NGO should investigate, I mean, its personnel, to be sure that, you know, we always have bad grains. Probably the bad grains are the ones who were involved in the dirty game that brought the NGO to where they are today.
Mr. Lasha Kingsley, is the same thing that the governors, the ministers, and even the government spokesperson will say, the military is not bad. There are just fewer individuals of the military that are bad. I think if they think that some persons within the medical corps could get themselves involved in illicit activities, and they suspend the activities of the whole medical corps that is there, I think it is unheard of. It's a crime against humanity. And it's the same thing if we were to go in that logic. We say, okay, since there is military atrocity in the northwest and southwest region, let us ask the military to go back to their barrack and suspend the military option. Like I said,
the question many people are asking, why is Médecins Sans Frontières crying more than the bereaved?
Médecins Sans Frontières cannot be crying more than the bereaved because they are part of the bereaved. I said communities don't live in isolation. Have you watched the way people died in, did you watch the way people were dying in Syria? Were you not touched when the war was going on in Syria? When there was a humanitarian crisis in Haiti, the earthquake and all the like, we saw Cameroonians wept when they saw people died. Meaning that if they have any way to intervene there to save a life, they would have done.
Many people listening to you will have the impression that without Doctors Without Borders in the Northwest, people will no longer have medical care. Is that what you are saying?
I don't want to think so, but I want to say this. The medical corps in Cameroon, I don't see them specialists in managing health situations or granting medical facilities in areas that are affected with war. But I told you, everyone is a specialist in something. Even in the journalism field, there are journalists who are political journalists, there are others that are economic journalists and all the like. So Doctors Without Borders, they are experts in managing health crisis in war-affected zones. So taking them away, I don't think Cameroonian doctors have that courage enough to go right into daring zones.
No, but most of them use our home-based medics and other
even if they are home-based medics, so it depends on the training which is offered to them.
Thank you. So let's talk something else with the Etape Quentin.
On lance aussi un coup de projecteur sur le Covid-Gate. Il y a une information qui est arrivée comme quoi le ministre de la Santé confirme l'utilisation de 45,5 milliards de francs CFA. Donc après des imbroglios qui surgissaient du fait qu'il refusait que c'était plutôt 34 milliards qu'on lui avait donné pour lutter contre le coronavirus. Voilà, quelle est votre lecture des faits? Quelle est votre analyse des faits?
Première analyse, c'est la honte totale pour notre gouvernement. Et ça n'honore pas le Cameroun. J'ai l'habitude de dire que le Cameroun fonctionne comme un État sans héros et un héros sans État. En grosso modo, c'est-à-dire c'est un État qui n'existe que de nom. Parce qu'il est inadmissible que deux autres cadres de cette nation, deux ministres, je voudrais le dire, se discutent sur des choses plus sensibles dans le marché, au marché, je dis, dans une arène publique. Parce que décaisser 45 milliards de francs CFA pour la lutte contre le Covid-19 n'est pas une chose qu'on devrait prendre à la légère. Et si je vois ce genre de spectacle livré par le ministre Manaouda Malachi avec son homologue
du
Minfi, je peux vous dire avec certitude que Manaouda Malachi, qui vient de nous encore faire d'autres révélations, que les 45 millions de francs CFA milliards, excusez-moi, de francs CFA ont été complètement utilisés pour la lutte de Covid-19. Ça pouvait être un arrangement pour se sauver, pour qu'il se sauve et le Minfi se sauve aussi. Parce qu'on ne vient pas juste faire des déclarations fantaisistes à la télé ou à travers les organes de presse. La chose que nous attendons à l'heure actuelle de voir, c'est de voir la justice faire son travail. La Chambre de comptes qui a été habilitée avec le pouvoir d'investiguer la façon dont la gestion des fonds Covid-19 qui ont été octroyés par le Fonds monétaire international sont gérés dans notre pays, doivent continuer de faire son travail. Mais pour moi, je dis bien, ce que j'attendais que le gouvernement camerounais fasse, c'était de chercher l'expertise des audits indépendants, comme tel a été prescrit par le Fonds monétaire international, M. Lasha Kingsley.
Thank you, gentlemen. The producer is indicating that our time is up. Thank you so much, televiewers, for taking our time this morning to watch us. We hope to be back tomorrow, God willing, for yet another edition of What the Papers Must Have Said. The program was produced by Christain, Tebong. For presentation, we've been Etape, Quentin, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Tomorrow is another day. Bye-bye.